Hope you are able to hear me now. Yeah, I think it should work now. Yeah, I just adjusted the settings in StreamYard. It should work now. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Angular RTP group. I see 7 participants joined for today's session. Yeah, we are waiting for others to join as well. In the meantime, we will get started with a quick introduction of what this meetup is all about. And I will also give some important updates that we have in our meetup group. Okay, this meetup group is for a Raleigh area, like RTP area, basically. Like anyone from Durham, Raleigh, or Cary, even from RTP can join this meetup group. Not only these folks, like anyone who are interested to attend our meetup events through online, you can join. And one another quick update I have here is like we will be having this Angular event every month. I'm not scheduling it on like every month Saturday, like second Saturday or third Saturday, something like that, or second Wednesday. So whenever I get time in the month, I usually schedule this event. And you can just join this group, our meetup group. I will share the link in YouTube live comments. Just a moment. Just join our group. You can keep track of all our future events as well. Okay, let's get started. Let me share my screen before that. Okay. So today's topic of discussion is how to authorize users or authenticate users in Angular application using Auth0, right? Say, for example, if you want to implement a basic authentication in traditional web applications, what we usually do, we just set up a login form and we get the user's username and password from user, and we just make sure whether they are matching with the database record that we have. If that is matching, we respond back saying that user is authenticated. So this is the traditional login mechanism we use in web applications. But like landscape has changed. Like we got like so many new applications these days with different flavors. Like we have single page applications, and we have mobile applications, and we have some IoT devices that also need authentication in order to sync data between different devices. So the scenery is totally changed, and we are not going to use the traditional login going forward, right? Say, for example, even in Angular, we cannot implement the traditional login like username and password and get the cache. Something similar to storing the information in the browser, saying that this user is authenticated. Like long back, even before cookie days, we used to cache some stuffs like a simple data in the browser just to know that this user is authenticated. And that's how the silent login used to happen long back, even before cookies. And after the invent of cookies, we started creating a cookie and drop it in user's browser. And every time when user requests a page, that cookie will be transferred to server, and server will check whether that cookie is the one that was created by server before, right? So that's how the transaction was happening in traditional web applications. After the like traditional logins with the yes or no Boolean kind of stuffs, cookie came into picture. But now, even after the usage of cookie, we are not satisfied with the login mechanism. So we are going with a different login mechanism these days. Like we take the help of Auth0 to authenticate users with any social platforms like Facebook, Google, or LinkedIn or GitHub. And similarly, when it comes to single page applications, we cannot use the cookie login here, because Angular application or React application, they cannot deal with cookies, basically, right? They cannot, I mean, you can write your application to read cookie and send it back, but that is not the recommended way of doing it. So that's why JWT comes into picture, which is based on a JSON token. So we basically send the username and password to the server, and server respond back saying that, hey, this is the JWT token, and use it whenever you make a request next time. So when user make a request next time, this JWT token needs to be passed to the server, and server is going to check whether that JWT token is having the valid information or not, right? Not only that, we can also rotate this JWT token from every 5 minutes or even 2 minutes, just to make sure hacker is not getting the access of our JWT token. So silently, your application can make a call to your server saying that, hey, can you please get me a new JWT token? So that server will create a new JWT token and it will pass it to the application. So for every 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you can configure that. So every 2 minutes or 3 minutes, this JWT token is going to be renewed, and the user is going to have the secure access of your web applications, right? Single page applications, obviously. So we are going to discuss about JWT today, but I'm not going to write single line of code to deal with the JWT token, or to renew the JWT token, or to destroy the JWT token. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take the help of Auth0 here. And let me dive into Auth0 right away. And before that, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Udhay. I'm a developer working on different technologies, from Angular to a database. And I am also a speaker. I speak on Angular, JavaScript, and Java. And I also write a blog post. You can find me at Ask Udhay on these platforms. Yeah, so coming to Auth0, and before that, let me make sure whether you are able to see my screen. Can one of you just let me know if you are able to see my slides? Yeah, okay, thank you. Actually, there is a lag in YouTube Live. Like it takes like 4 or 5 seconds to relay the content. So that's why you will see some delay when I ask a question. It will take like 5 seconds to reach you. Okay, not a problem. So coming to Auth0, Auth0 is kind of a flexible, ready-made solution for authentication or authorization purpose. Say, for example, you have an application, but you don't want to create the authentication and authorization piece. All you want to do is you want to take the help of someone who is having the ready-made solution, right? So Auth0 is one such solution. What you can do, you can just take the Auth0 help here in order to authenticate your users. And even you can create roles for your users. Based on roles you can assign. You can show or display different pages within your application, or you can even perform some actions based on user roles. Say, for example, whoever is having admin permissions, they can do all the operations in your web application. Similarly, who is having only read-only permission, so they can only view the content of your web application. They cannot update or they cannot delete, right? You can even do this role-based authorization as well with the help of Auth0. But in this session, I'm just going to discuss how we can authenticate users using Auth0, okay? And as I mentioned, it's a flexible drop-in solution, and they support all kind of authentication authentication platforms, or authentication different techniques we have, right? Like Auth0 and OpenID. So all like SAML and SSO, all these kind of authentication can be done with the help of Auth0 with simple configuration, right? And as I mentioned, you don't have to develop your authentication piece. Like you will just own that solution that is already available in Auth0. Okay, and you don't have to worry about your language or framework. Auth0 supports like 30 plus languages or frameworks. So like you will be finding ready-made solution in their website. Okay, so it supports 30 plus SDKs. So far I tried like five different programming languages as well as frameworks. So I tried it on JavaScript, it worked. I tried it on Angular, it worked. I tried it on React, it worked. I tried it with a traditional MVC Java application, it worked. I also tried it with Spring Security, which is a part of Spring Framework module, and it also worked in Spring Security as well. So they provide support for all kinds of technologies, like programming languages as well as frameworks. Okay. Not only that, since I spoke about Auth0, like social identity provider comes into picture there. Say, for example, if you want to log in using Google or Facebook or LinkedIn or GitHub, you name anything, even with GitLab, you can do that simple configuration in Auth0. So you don't have to write any lines of code in order to make your application to deal with Google, Facebook, or LinkedIn. So everything is provided by Auth0 itself. So the only thing you need to do is you need to configure a couple of keys. And following that, multi-factor authentication. So not just username and password authentication is safe these days. Like it's very easy to get, it's very easy to hack the username and password of users. So it is always better to have one more shield for your application authentication. So multi-factor authentication comes into picture. You can use SMS OTP authentication, or you can use any other push notification services like Okta or Auth0 push notification services. Even you can use like Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator. And even I tried one more thing, which is LastPass. They also have the authenticator. You can even use that authenticator as well as the second factor authentication for your application. So this is what I'm going to discuss today. I'm going to create a simple authentication solution for my Angular application. And I'm going to add social identity providers for that, like Facebook or LinkedIn or Google. And also I'm going to add multi-factor authentication, right? Hope you don't have any question on Auth0. If you have any questions, please post it on YouTube live comments. I will answer it at the end of the session. Okay, so before we start with configuring our Angular application in order to use Auth0, we need to first download the application, the Angular application. So for sake of our discussion, I'm going to use my existing Angular application that I created in my previous sessions. So which is going to be a Pokemon application. So I just go to my repositories and look for Pokemon app. And I'm just going to clone this app in my local. I just do git clone. Just drop my HTTPS URL. Yeah, I just cloned my app and it's here, which is Pokemon application. And let me run this application and show you how it works and what are the different routes we have within the app. And also I will explain you what I'm trying to do with Auth0 there. Okay. First thing, let me install the dependencies or packages for this application. So I do npm I, which will download all the dependencies for Pokemon app by referring to package.json. Okay, let it download all the packages. In the meantime, I will jump to Auth0 again. Yeah, so to deal with Auth0, you need to have Auth0 account. First of all, so just go to auth0.com and you can sign up for a free account. Since I already have an account, I just go to login. So once you log in, you will see a list of applications that you already created under your domain. So each account will have its own domain. Say, for example, my domain will be called as askudhay.blah blah blah. So that is the domain I have for Auth0. And even you can use your custom domain there. Like you have some company name called xyz.com. You can use xyz.com instead of askudhay.auth0.com, right? So once you create sign up for a new account, you will be assigned with a domain, and you can start creating applications under the domain. So right now I have 2 applications, but I'm going to create a new application now to deal with my Angular application, right? So let me go and see whether all the dependencies are added. Yes, so they are downloaded. So in the meantime, let me serve this application, which is going to take another couple of seconds, so that we can go back and discuss about Auth0 application creation again. Okay. Let me create a new application. This application is going to be for single page application, web app, and you can name it like Pokemon app and click create. This will create a simple application. This is not an Angular application or React application or anything to do with your web application. This is something that you are going to create under Auth0. And this application is going to have a couple of information like what's your application name, your domain name. As I already mentioned, you can change your domain name with your custom domain as well, to just give a good feel to your users that they are still on the same login page under your domain. Otherwise, what happens when user clicks on login button from my application, it will jump to askudhay.us.auth0.com, and it may give a bad feel to your users. They may think that they are on a different domain, so they may not even log in, right? It's better to use custom domain in that case. And client ID, this is going to be exposed to outside world. You need to pass this client ID every time when you make a request to Auth0 for authentication. And following that client secret, you don't have to deal with this anyway. And for some reason, if your application is hacked or something, you can change this client secret. This will update all the configurations of your application, right? And following that, you have option to change your application logo, and the application type is single page application. I'm not going to change that. And token endpoint authentication method, I'm not going to update that as well. And application login URI, it's going to be same as Auth0, so I'm not going to update this. And once after authentication is done at Auth0 end, I need to let know Auth0 that please call back this particular URL, so that after authentication, Auth0 will call this URL saying that, okay, the authentication is successful or failed. Okay, if it is successful, it is going to return back the JWT token, and based on the token, you perform whatever you want. You want to make a REST API call to pull some information from your remote API and display it on the page, you can do it. Or if you want to protect certain routes in your Angular application, again, you can do that, so that those routes will be asking your users to log in when they try to access, right? So that's where callback URL comes into picture. And allowed logout URL, like once after the user is logged out, like when they click on logout button, where they need to go, right? To which application they need to go, which application page they need to go, that you can configure here. That's it. And apart from that, you don't have to do anything. Yeah, it looks like our application is running in my local. Let me access it from incognito browser. So this is the locally running application, the one which I cloned from GitHub. And this is Pokemon app, which is interacting with pokeapi.co to bring the list of Pokemons. This is basically a REST API, and I'm just fetching the list of Pokemons from there and displaying here. And when you click on this particular Pokemon, it is going to display the details of the Pokemon that you clicked. Okay. And what I'm trying to do here is, right now, nothing is protected. All the routes I have here, like /home, /Pokemon, and /Pokemon/1. Everything is public now. I didn't protect any of these routes. But what I want to do is I want to protect routes of this individual details of Pokemon. So which is /Pokemon/3 or /Pokemon/15 or whatever, right? I want to protect this route Pokemon/***. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with the help of Auth0 here. Right now, Auth0 is not implemented, so that's why I'm able to access all the routes in my application. Okay, so coming back, I'm going to add this localhost :4200 as my callback URL. And this is going to be my logout URL. And this is going to be my allowed web origin. Okay. So I just updated these settings here and click on Save Changes. All set. I have created an application called Pokemon app. You can give any name. It's up to you. And this application name is nowhere related to my Angular application name. You can give a different name as well here. All set. Okay. Going back to our Angular application, we need to do a couple of configurations in Angular application. They are going to be straightforward. And in case if you want to do along with me, in case you want to try this along with me, you can go ahead and do it. Let me share this slides link on YouTube comments so that you can also give a try. Make sure you have Auth0 account before you start with this. I just shared my slides. Link on YouTube live comments. You can go over the steps so far I discussed. Okay. The first step we need to do in Angular application is we need to configure Auth0, right? As I already mentioned, we are not going to write a single line of code to take care of this authentication and authorization. All we are going to do is we are going to use Auth0 SDK. And in order to use Auth0 Angular SDK, you need to add this Auth0 support for your Angular application. So I just going to add Auth0 Angular support for my application. So this is a package at auth0/auth0-angular. So this is a package I need to add to my Angular application. So you may see some warnings here. You can discard that for now. Okay. So this is going to add Auth0 support to my Angular application. And let's see what they are adding actually in my package.json. Okay. So package.json is here, and in dev dependencies, you should be seeing something, or you should be seeing something under actual dependencies. Okay. I think it's still adding the packages. Yeah, it's installing the packages via npm. So once these packages are added, we can start using Auth0 provided functions like JavaScript functions to deal with authentication. So that's what we are going to deal. That's what we are going to do after installing these packages. Okay. All set. We added the support of Auth0 to our Angular application. You should be seeing that got added as a dependency here. Okay. Under dependencies. All set. We have support for Auth0 now. So the next step is we need to let know our Angular application. Okay. Please use this domain name, the application what we created, right? So please use this domain name and a client ID. So this is the application we created in Auth0 end. So we need to let know our application. Please always redirect to this domain name when user tries to log in. as well as this client ID needs to be passed from our application, right? So we need to add these two information as a kind of a global information within our application. So that's why I'm going to create a new file called auth_config.json under my application. So this will create a new file called auth_config.json. And if you go down below, you will see the configuration for this auth_config.json. I'm just copying this, and I'm just going to put it inside my auth_config.json, right? And we need to change this client ID. So this is kind of a different client ID. So I need to copy it from my application here, and I just need to put it in client ID. All set, domain name didn't change, so I'm not updating this domain name here. Only the client ID got changed. I just updated it. All set. We added this JSON data, but this cannot be consumed automatically by our Angular application. We need to add this JSON as a common module or common JSON data available for entire prod environment or non-prod environment. Okay. So the next thing what we are going to do is we are going to import this JSON under environments. Okay. If you expand SRC, you will see environments, and under environments you will see environment.ts, and I'm going to import that here. Okay. So if you go back to the configuration in my slides, we are going to add this piece of code in our environments.ts. So I will explain what actually it deals with. So what we are basically doing is we are importing domain name and client ID from auth_config.json, and we are making that available to our auth JavaScript, JSON property. Okay, and this auth will be passed as this auth JSON object will be passed as parameter to our auth module. I will show that in next couple of minutes. So we are still getting some error here, which means it couldn't resolve JSON module. This is basically kind of a warning from TypeScript. So go to tsconfig.json and just add resolve JSON module as true. So this will resolve JSON modules. Okay. Yeah, so the error is gone. It will start resolving the JSON files as a module going forward. So that's what we did here. We added this configuration. All set. We now have this auth JSON object in our non-prod environment, right? So environment.ts is basically for all kind of environments. You can even configure different environments here in Angular, right? But I'm going to have this configuration of auth only in non-prod environment, and this is kind of data that is available to my entire application now. I can access it from anywhere. Okay. And the next thing is we need to add this information, like what is the domain name, what is the client ID to my auth module, right? And basically we are going to import auth module in that case. Go to app.module.ts. I believe you understand what app.module or app.component. I think basically you have some understanding on Angular. If not, Angular module is something kind of app module is something kind of a first module that gets bootstrapped as soon as you hit the URL, the index page. And what happens is it will download all the modules available within these packages. Okay. So similarly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to download, I'm going to import auth module from my auth package. And this auth module is going to be passed as another module into my Angular application, and it's going to take JSON object as the parameter. Okay, we need to call this for route method. This for route method is basically going to take care of Angular routes. So it will going forward, it will also look at the Angular routes, so that if you have any protection for your Angular routes, say for example, /user needs a login, auth module will redirect users to login page instead of taking them to the actual user page, right? Similarly, if you have something like /admin, and if /admin needs to be a protected route, like user needs to log in before accessing that, auth module.for route will take care of that. So it will automatically redirect users to login page. It will authenticate them, and it will take the user back to the /admin page, right? So that's what it does. And we need to pass environment object here. So let me import environment from our environments folder. We have environment, right? So we have environment object here, but I just want to use it as env for as a short form. Okay, and I'm using spread syntax here, in, which will actually iterate through the JSON object, and I just want to take auth from that. So auth is nothing but our JSON object, which has domain name, client ID, and this domain name is coming from authconfig.json. Okay, so we configured auth module now. So auth module will look forward all the routes going forward, and it will authenticate those routes if they are protected. Okay, all set. We added auth module now. So let's go back to the slides. Yeah, we added the auth module. And the next thing is I need to protect my route. And so the route which I want to protect here is Pokemon/1 or Pokemon/2, whatever. Okay. So if I want to see the details of this Pokemon, I need to log in, first of all. So without login, I cannot see the details of Pokemon. So that's how I am going to configure this application. So to do that, I need to add some configurations in app-routing.module.ts. So if you are from Angular background, you know what a routing module will basically do. So we will have configuration for our routes basically. Say for example, when you access your application, something like domain name.com/home, it's going to call this home module basically, right? And similarly, if you are going to access /Pokemon, it is going to call Pokemon.module, right? And Pokemon/:ID, which means like 1, 2, 3, up to how many number of Pokemons we have. So that route needs to be protected, secured. So that's what I want to do here. Okay, to secure my Pokemon route, I need to take the help of Auth0 again, because I'm not going to write any lines of code to do that. So I'm taking the help of Auth0 here. So you can use Auth0/Auth0-Angular package here. And from that, I'm just importing AuthGuard. Okay, if you go to AuthGuard, you will see it's a class which implements can activate, can load, can activate child, right? So it basically implements these interfaces, and it's going to take, it's going to override the actual functionality of can activate, can load, basically. Okay. So coming back here, I'm going to assign this AuthGuard as my can activate parameter. So can activate is nothing but we are just letting know Angular. Sorry. Oops. We are just letting know Angular that please secure or protect this route or this path. Okay. So Angular, what it will do is it will go and check the definition of can activate, and it see how it is configured. Okay, so the actual configuration of can activate goes within Auth0, and Auth0 will basically look at your configuration of your application. So how it will look for the configuration of application is, it will go to the app.module.ts and it will take a look at the environment.auth, and from that it will take the look at domain and client ID, and it sees that domain is askudhay.us.auth0.com, and it also reads this client ID. So basically it will go and check for my application. And in application configuration, I mentioned that once after user is authenticated, redirect the user to localhost :4200. So this is what Auth0 will do for me. So all this logic goes within this single line of code. Okay, so I'm not authenticating the users here, or I'm not writing any code to get the JWT token and verify whether it's a valid token or not. And every time when I access this page, the secured route, I'm not going to verify the JWT token. Rather, my Auth0 is going to take care of that. Okay, all set. Let me run this application now. And I'm going to run it in local and see how that works. If there are any issues, we will fix it. Okay. So far you have any questions? Let me quickly take a look at YouTube live comments. Okay. No questions. Okay. So coming back, yeah, our application is building in the local. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to serve this Angular application from a local using ng-serve. You know what is ng? It's a command. It's a ng command, and we want to serve this application on Angular built-in server, and also we want to open this application on the default browser that is configured in my laptop, basically. So it will, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is running on my local. Let me go and close this incognito window, the private window, and I'm going to access my application once again. And let me go to Pokemon page, and let me click on any Pokemon here. Yeah. So when I click on that, it is actually redirecting me to Auth0 login page, and I need to provide my credentials here. Okay. So far it's working fine. Like, it's connecting my Angular application with my Auth0 domain, and it's looking for user login from here. Okay. Before I do user login, I want to enable a couple of things here. So if you go to connections in your application, you can see a couple of options here. Like, you can go with passwordless, or you can go with social logins, or you can even use database. So the one which I am going to use here is the database one, which is the default authentication methodology we use here. And to do that, we need to have list of users, right? If you don't have users added to your application, your Auth0 application, just go ahead and add users here. You can do that right from here by clicking on create user, add your user email ID, password, repeat password, and what kind of connection you want to use here, and click on create. This will create the users, and those users can access this application. Okay, this is one thing. The another thing is you can configure your database as well, or you can even configure your LDAP here. Instead of having this username and password on Auth0 database, you can even have this config. Even you can wire this with your LDAP server. So every time when user login from here, the check will happen at your LDAP server just to make sure whether this user's username and password is matching or not. Okay, but I'm not going to do that here. So rather, I'm just going to take the help of username and password authentication that is provided by Auth0 itself. Okay, I already added this user udayg86@gmail.com. I'm going to use that here to log in. Let me see whether it's allowing me to log in. And once after the successful login, it should take me to Pokemon detail page. Okay, but before that, it is letting know that whether I want to authorize this Pokemon app. Okay, this Pokemon app is going, whether you want to authorize your Pokemon app for this. Pokemon app in the sense like Auth0 Pokemon app for this locally running application. Okay, I'm going to say accept. So once after I accept it, it should redirect me to the detail page of Pokemon, but it's not doing it. Okay, that's because before it checks whether the user is authenticated or not. Before it's checking that, what Angular is doing is it is redirecting me to home page. Okay, so it's not a bug, but what I would say, it's before it tries to load Auth0 service here or Auth0 modules here, it is redirecting to Pokemon page, the details page. When Pokemon's page is loaded, the Auth0 modules are not yet loaded, so those methods are not available. So a JavaScript error occurs here. So that's why it is redirecting to home page directly. Okay, we need to handle this, and so we have a good documentation on Auth0 for this. So let me take you to that directly. Okay, so every time when it comes to this app.component.html, what we need to do, we need to let know our Auth0 that please check for any routes that need to be served based on the last login, right? So that check is going to be happening on app.component.html as well as on TS. So to do that, I'm going to use Auth0 service here. And I'm going to add this Auth0 service as my constructor parameter. Okay, so this will instantiate this module by default as soon as this component is loaded. And on top of that, I need to add some few checks here. Okay, so the check I need to do here is I need to display a simple loading GIF, something like image or something, or a simple text will work, like loading ... So it's going to check whether the user is the authentication Auth0 module is still loading. Okay, in that case, it is going to display loading ... Once it is completed loading, it's going to call this loaded ng template. So I'm going to create a simple ng template out of my actual component here. So once after this auth module is loaded, it's going to call this loaded ng template, and this ng template will take care of my actual routing. Okay, I just added this piece of code, and this is very much needed because Auth0 module will not be loaded as soon as without loading the actual Angular module of yours. Okay, so that's why it is redirecting directly to our application homepage. So let's try now. If not, we will restart the application. Okay, so when I click on this, it should take me to the details page. Yes, it is not taking me to the home page. Rather, it is taking me to the detail page. So this is what my expectation is. And let me reload this page. Yeah, still I have this JWT token in my browser. So silent login is happening, and that's why it is able to take me to this page without asking for login. Okay, so what I do, let me close this browser. Since it is an incognito browser, all my JWT token and other cookies and other stuffs got removed because it's a private browser basically. So now I'm going to Pokemon page, and I'm going to click on individual Pokemon here. It's going to take me to Auth0 login page. You can see the domain name here, askudhay.us.auth0.com. If you use custom domain, you will see custom domain name here. Okay, so udhayg86@gmail.com. This is my email. I added already in Auth0 database. Since I already accepted I mean, I already allowed my Pokemon Auth0 application to, in order to use this Angular application, it's not going to ask accept or deny again. So rather, it just redirected to me to the actual details page, which I clicked before. Okay. All set. I didn't have any login button or logout button here because if I implement that, it's going to extend the session for another 1 hour. And I'm planning to do that in next couple of sessions. Okay. So this is what I did so far. So I added simple authentication here. And if you have any question, please post it on YouTube live comments, and I will explain it at the end of the session. Okay. Okay, all set. So what we are going to explore now is we are going to add a couple of social platform logins as well. So far, if you see the login screen here, let me open the browser once again. So next time I will implement logout so that we don't have to close this page every time. Okay. So when I click on this individual Pokemon, it is actually taking me to the login page. I have sign up button here, but again, it is a tedious process. Like I need to provide email address, password, everything. But what I want to do is I want to take the help of like Facebook or LinkedIn here in order to sign up for this application. So to do that, what you can actually configure here is go to your application, go to connections, and in connections, I already have Facebook, GitHub, Google, as well as LinkedIn. I'm going to enable GitHub here, as well as I'm going to enable Google. Okay. Since I already logged into GitHub and Google here, it is not going to ask me to log into GitHub or Google. Rather, it is going to take me to, okay, actually this is because I already logged into udayg86@gmail.com. Okay, so this is not the expected behavior. Let me show it on here, okay, in incognito browser. Okay, since I enabled GitHub and Google, you will see these two options now. So you can continue with Google or continue with GitHub. So I'm going to continue with Google. So when I click on that, it is redirecting me to Google page. I mean login page. So I just provide my Google, Gmail and Gmail password. Okay. Now Google is going to ask whether I want to authorize this Pokemon application under Ask Udhay account. I just want to do accept it. Once after I accept it, it is redirecting me to the actual Pokemon details page. Okay. If you come back to your application and if you go to your users, you should be seeing a row got added here saying that Google Auth0 authentication connection is being used. Okay, I already had udayg86@gmail.com before as a database user. It just override that and created Google Auth0, Google Auth2 user, right? And I can also do it with GitHub as well. So let me go to localhost :4200 the page, and I just want to use a GitHub. So I'm just entering my credentials for GitHub here. So GitHub is actually doing the authentication here, and it is going to pass the open identity to Auth0, and Auth0 is going to take care of this login part here. Okay, so when you use this GitHub login or Facebook login or any other social platform login, so this works like a federated login. So which means when you log out of GitHub or Google or Facebook, it's going to log out from this application as well automatically. Okay, it will be automatically redirected to your logout URL, what you provided under your application. Okay, so whatever logout URL you provided here, like after login, what you want to perform, it will redirect to this logout URL. Okay. So this is all I have for social platform. And what else we can do with this is we can enable multi-factor authentication. So if you go here in left-hand side, you will see multi-factor authentication. And you can mention like require multi-factor authentication by default. Okay, I'm going to enable this as always, and I just save it. And I just click on continue. And whoever is not having multi-factor authentication set up already, it is going to ask them to set up multi-factor authentication. So the one which I'm going to use here is push via Auth0 Guardian. This is an app you can install from iOS or Android. And also you can use any other security tokens or any other DO security, right? Or even phone message or OTP. If you use OTP, you can use like Google Authenticator. Even you can use SMS as well here. Okay. And when you use OTP, the free plan comes with like 100 SMS codes. So beyond that, you cannot use. Okay, let me go to our actual page in incognito browser. A Pokemon page. Okay. So I'm going to use continue with Google. Let me see if it is asking me to configure MFA. If not, I think it will ask from next time. Like when user login for first time or signing up with Google or Facebook. Yeah, it is asking me to sign up for multi-factor authentication. So I already have Auth0 configured here. So I just go to Google. I just click on continue here and go to my Auth0 Guardian app. Okay, and I'm just going to scan this QR code. Okay, I just scanned this QR code, and it's also showing a code here just in case if I lost my mobile or if I uninstall this application. In that case, we can use this code. So I just click on I have safely recorded this code, and click on continue. And when I click on continue, it is going to redirect me to the actual details page. Okay, so from next time when I access this page, the Pokemon details page, using continue with Google, when I click on continue with Google, and when I enter my password for Google account, it's going to send the notification to my mobile. You can see that here. I just click on allow. So when I click on allow, it automatically redirects me to the actual page. Okay, so you can add this MFA with different MFA parties. Like you can use a Google Authenticator, or you can also use Auth0 provided Guardian, as well as you can use SMS. Okay, even you can use email as well. So that's all I have for today's discussion. Let me go through the questions quickly. Let me stop sharing my screen. And I'll just post these questions on StreamYard as well. Okay. So can you explain what ng does? Okay, ng is a Angular command, basically. Like, for example, when you want to do something with your Git repository, like to push Git code or to download for cloning the Git repository, we use git space clone or git space push, right? So Git is a command there to deal with Git related operations. So ng is something similar. You need to install Angular CLI to start using ng commands. Okay. And ng is basically going to let know your system saying that please run ng.exe that is present under Angular CLI package under your global settings, basically. Okay. And couple questions from Suresh Babu. Can Auth0 be configured to authenticate against third-party database like Oracle 2? I think yes. So they support, but I'm not sure about what kind of database they support. But they do support a third-party database. You can even have your database configured in cloud, like AWS cloud or somewhere. They do support it. Okay. Yes, Auth0 is widely used. Let me show you where Auth0 is basically like which companies are using Auth0. Atlassian is using Auth0. You know what is Atlassian? So the company that that created Jira tool, right? So they use it, and The Economist is using it. Blue Cross Blue Shield, the BCBS logo of every state is using it, and Motley Fool is using it, and AMD is also using it, right? So you can, if you dig deeper, you will find like all major brands are using Auth0, and yeah, it's reliable. You can give a try. They have their own documentation. You can take a look. Can you use this Auth0 in an app for sale? Yes, of course. But when you use free account, so there are so many restrictions will be there. These many requests can be made for login or authentication per day, something like that. You need to go with their pricing model there and choose which pricing model is best suit for you. Okay. I think I didn't share my screen. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. So Auth0 is widely used among big companies like Atlassian, Motley Fool, BCBS, Mazda, and AMD as well. Okay, and you can check their pricing model and see how it works, like what comes with free plan and what comes with developer or developer pro plan. Okay, and I started digging more into Auth0. In upcoming sessions, I will talk more about how we can configure it in REST APIs as well. Like how we can pass JWT token from our Angular app to REST API, and how the authentication can be linked between these two components, basically. Okay. And any more questions? And I see like the participants who attended like my previous session. I can see them here. Hey Vivek, thanks for joining. Okay, any more questions? Okay, I already shared the slides link on YouTube live comments. Let me do it once again. In slides here. And I will update the code base link as well in the slides. And if you have any question on Auth0, you can reach out to me on Twitter at Ask Udhay and connect me there, even if you want to talk something about Angular. Okay, if you don't have any question, I think we can wind up. And thanks HU21 for your feedback. Yeah, so thanks once again for joining, and let's connect with another interesting session during our December month meetup. And keep watching the meetup.com events. So we'll be posting like one or two events there. Like some events are from another co-organizer, Tracy. So she usually posts events related to JavaScript and Angular, Vue, or React, anything related to like front end. Keep watching the event page. You'll be finding some interesting events there. Okay. All set. Thank you so much for joining and have a great rest of the day. I'm just ending the broadcast.